Welcome to the Master of the NEC podcast, the ultimate destination for anyone passionate about the electrical trade. Whether you're a seasoned electrician, an eager apprentice, or just someone who wants to dive deep into the world of electrical work, you've come to the right place. Join your host, Paul Abernathy, a true authority in the industry with over 38 years of trade experience, as he electrifies your mind with in-depth discussions, expert tips, and valuable insights that will keep you ahead of the curve. Each episode, Paul will illuminate the complexities of the trade, decode the National Electrical Code, and share the latest industry trends, all while empowering you to take your electrical career to the next level. So, gear up, plug in, and get ready to supercharge your knowledge, because with the Master of the NEC podcast, the power is in your hands. Now get ready. Here is your host, Paul Abernathy.
What up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Master the NEC, where we talk about the National Electrical Code, all electrical things, anything that helps your business grow, all things for electricians. Thanks for joining me. If you've never listened to our podcast before, we have over 1,000 episodes on all different types of topics. You can listen on any of your popular podcast listening platforms, Spreaker, Spotify, Deezer, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. You can even get our mobile app over on our website, fasttracksystem.com. And in the navigational tab, you will see info. And under that, you will see a link to our mobile app. It's not in the App Store, so don't go to Google App Store or Apple Store. It's exclusively downloadable from our website. So check it out if you want to get instant access to the podcast, or even join us maybe in the morning, Monday through Friday, on Coffee Hour, which is a live show we do Monday through Friday, and we talk all things electrical. It's designed to get your week started, get your day started. Just a great lighthearted way to help encourage you to be more successful in the electrical industry and in your trade. So join us. We hope to see you there on one of those future episodes. Okay, on today's podcast, we're going to be talking about 5 tips again. And one of the things that I find that people struggle with, especially electrical contractors and electricians in general, and pretty much anybody in the service industry, is they don't know how to overcome a hesitating customer, or a hesitant customer, or a person that's just on the fence, or a customer that needs what you have, but you just can't get them over that hump. And you are not selling snake oil, okay, because I do not believe in that. If you're really selling them something that they need, they get to make the ultimate decision, but it might be the way you're approaching it that you just can't get the customer to get over that hurdle and say, you know what, this is what I need. Now, financial conditions, but you got to remember, they called you out there, or you got out there for a reason. So you still have what's called a captured market at this time, so you need to take advantage of it and learn how to overcome and persuade a hesitant customer into wanting your electrical services or whatever service business that you're in, okay? So I'm going to kind of give you my tips. There's about 5. There's obviously a lot more than that, and we're going to cover a lot of this in our SEA program. If you're interested, it's the Certified Electrical Energy Auditor Program that is designed to offer unique products to your customers, but ones that we have vetted, and there is a way to offer them, and it's a tangible way to return net zero to their investment. In other words, a way for them to get is a win-win for everybody, and they get some things like energy monitoring. If they have EV systems, you can do that. If they have solar, you can integrate into that. There's smart receptacles. There's so many things that you can do to make their lives so much easier in today's world. And we want to offer those solutions. So that's what SEA is all about. But one of the big things in SEA is that we're going to offer services. In other words, we're going to make you a better salesperson. We're going to make you a better person that interacts with a customer. We're going to make you basically a better employer and employee through common practice in educational offerings that we offer. And then, of course, we're going to stand behind the SEA name and give you that support as well moving forward in that program. If you're interested in that and learning more about SEA, then go to electricalenergyaudit.com. That's electricalenergyaudit.com. And just read about it. May not be for you. But if you have any questions, feel free to give us a call. Call me personally, 540-607-0116. Talk to me personally. I'm more than happy to explain the program and the benefits. And I think the education on dealing with customers and the pre-done templates and the pre-done sales material, and I think all of that type of stuff is probably going to help you be more effective in your business. And that's what it's all about. We want you to grow your business and be more successful. That's what SIA is all about. Okay. All right. So anyway, let's look at what we're talking about. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about overcoming a hesitant customer. And I'm going to give you my 5 tips. This is not an all-inclusive list. It's just my 5 tips to help you make it a little easier. And you're going to have to practice these things. These are not things that are just going to come innately to you by just reading it and going, oh, you need to practice this. So I encourage employers to have training sessions with their employees and make it part of their job. If they say, I don't want to do this, then you get rid of them because that's not somebody that's in your interest of growing your company. They say, I'm not a salesman. That's bullshit. Every damn electrician that works for you, every apprentice that works for you, every journeyman that works for you, they are salespeople. Don't let them say they're not. They're selling your business. They're selling themselves. They're selling the fact that you want repeat customers. Do not let them taint your business. And if they are, they're a cancer to your company and you need to get rid of them because there's always somebody right behind them that's willing to do what needs to be done for everybody to be successful. Okay? All right, so let's talk about that hesitant customer. Number 1, I think it is, and I've done this for years, and people know me as an inspector and an AHJ's deputy to the HJ. If they know that I always want to educate somebody instead of selling them. Now, ultimately, if you're well educated on something, the sale is easy. I had people say to me that all the time in the wire and cable industry. They go, Paul, I'm not a salesman. I don't sell wire. I don't take orders. But if they put me in front of somebody, they want to buy for some reason. They're like, I want to use your product. And they go, Paul, you're an amazing salesperson. And I'm like, but I'm not a salesman. I believe in the product. I believe in the education that I'm presenting. It sells itself. So at the end of the day, number 1, educate instead of selling. Become passionate in what you have. If you believe that adding AFCIs and GFCIs to an older house that doesn't have it, then passionately understand why you're doing it. Not just the monetary value of doing it, but really understand why you're doing it. If not, don't offer it. You get me? That's the passion that you need to bring today. So most resistance comes from not understanding why your service matters. They just don't understand, okay? Instead of pushing it, explaining the real benefits is important. So I'm just not pushing it down their throat and saying, you need this. It's my responsibility to explain the benefits, the safety, the compliance, the code compliance, the lower energy bills, things like that, that's preventing costly breakdowns and increasing property values, things like that, things that people are interested in. You know, people buy when they understand the why, not just the what of a product, okay? They understand that, for example, GFCIs and AFCIs are required today. They weren't required back when their house was built. They go, well, why don't I have these? And you explain, well, let me explain to you the why and how the code has changed over the years because it's a safety standard. Yes, I understand that they cost money, but they do bring an inherent benefit, safety, compliance, value. And so there's a way that you can approach it, but don't sell the customer. Educate the customer with your sales hook. And the sales hook is you're the one there providing these things that you're talking about. So you don't need to sell it. You just need to educate them on it. Okay? And now once they start understanding it, you can tell. They'll start they're nodding their head. They'll acknowledge it and they'll say, I understand. They start to understand it, then you're no longer just dry selling them. You get me? Saying, now you need this as surge protective device. Well, why do I need it? Well, let me explain why. And you don't lie. You be very honest. Okay? That's one thing. Honesty is the key. Don't try to pull smoke and mirrors. There's a lot of people out there that are snake oil salesmen who try to sell it, and people say, well, I don't believe in surge protective. If you don't believe in surge protective devices in their application, then you know what? You shouldn't be pushing them. I'm just saying. Next, use social proof and authority. What do we mean by that? Well, you need to, obviously you're in business, you can share some success stories, some testimonials, case studies, for example. You could say something like, well, I just worked with a homeowner in Louisa County who had the same concerns that you do. And after we upgraded their panel, their actual insurance premiums dropped. Now, don't make that up. If that really happened, use those stories. Any little tidbit of success can be embellished into a story. But make sure it's a factual depiction. If I put in an energy management or energy monitoring system for somebody and a customer realizes a savings, now, whether it's $1 savings or $1,000 savings, the end of the day, they found a savings due to the system. It's not a discussion of how much savings, and if you hopefully you don't need to go that deep into it. But the point is, it's factual. You're not lying. Now, you didn't guarantee you're going to save them $1,000 a month. I think that the point here is you need to think of real world examples that reduces doubt and puts you in a position of the trusted expert. And that's why we created SEIA for the electrical energy auditor and a certified electrical energy auditor. The reason we did that is because it is a way for the electrician. And it's also, be honest with you, why we created the CMECP program, Certified Master Electrical Code Professional Program. It's to raise the bar. It's to set that level of trust, that expertise, and the way you present yourself, the way you look, the way you address the issue. All those things set the tone. Now, you've probably heard me talk about a first impression is the most important impression. It is. But if you don't have the best first impression, it can be overcome with a series of things that you do right during your experience with that customer. So you can fix a bad first impression. But it's an uphill battle. So I teach people, go in with the best first impression. Don't go in with a dirty truck where stuff falls out your door when you pull up and open it up. Okay, make sure your trucks are marked properly, that you have the right licensing numbers on the front of your trucks like you're supposed to. Don't work out the back of a sedan. I know for some people you might say, that's all I've got. Well, you've got to work harder, okay, because you need to look professional. Definitely have your company shirts look good. I don't care whether you're blue jeans or khakis, but not holy jeans, not holy khakis. Look the part. Look professional. Set the tone. Come in with authority. And if you have company-wide success stories, use that as social proof and authority to what you say is accurate. And use that. Now, those may take you time to develop. Okay, next, one of the key things that I think that people have to understand is that you have to go into a mentality that you're actually reframing the cost that they're about to invest in as an investment, just like it sounded. That cost that they're about to invest in is exactly that. It's an investment. If a customer is hesitant because of the price, shift the conversation from the expense to the long-term savings or avoided risks. Okay, for example, yes, this service is blank up front, but it prevents $10,000 in repairs or risk of fire down the road. Tie every dollar to a value, safety, reliability, or savings. Now, I don't mean pull wild numbers out the air, but you know how much it would cost to have to replace something or rewire something. Tens of thousands of dollars today. The house that I used to wire back when I was actively in the field doing a lot of homes back in the late 80s, early 90s, and early 2000s, those homes, I could wire those homes for $15,000, $20,000, $30,000. The same freaking home today is $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 just in electrical. Now, I'm not talking the little spec homes, the 1,200 square foot, 1,400 that some of you may be doing. That's a feast or famine. Everybody's fighting to get those, but you're not making any money on those. I only went for the big dollar homes. So I'm saying when I price something, prices always go up. Everything goes up over time. Repairs go up. You can't get a new HVAC system installed probably for less than $8,000 today. Now, I know you're maybe not an HVAC guy, but if you have, for example, you're in SEIA and you promote an energy monitoring system, you may be able to see when a compressor is going bad based on how length it runs, how long it runs, how often it runs, because all this stuff is monitored of consumption. So at the end of the day, there is ways to approach certain things, and there's a reason why the code is the way it is today. Minimum safety standard, whether you like it or not. The same person that bitches about the code is also the same person that has no problem telling a customer that they need to get a GFCI or an AFCI or something like that in a certain location because it's code. So you can cry about the code, but it's things that people need, and you're making money. They're being safer. It's not snake oil. It is what it is, and it's what you got to deal with. Same with the surge protected device when you do a panel change, things like that. It just is what it is. And so embrace it, but you have to understand it to be able to sell it to a customer. And it's really at that point not selling it to them. It's educating them on it. But always tie something to value if you run into that price issue where they question the price. Next is, and I think this is real important, is you have to ask questions to find where their pain point is, where their problem is. And you've got to get used to being good at asking questions, okay? You have to be good at it. For example, instead of arguing with a customer over price or something like that, try to uncover the real matter. That's the only way that you can actively target their hesitation is understanding what their argument is. Are you worried about safety? Are you worried about the cost? Are you just not seeing the urgency? Once you know the real objection, then you can tailor your response around that. For example, if they say, well, we've never had a problem, you might respond with, that's exactly why preventative service is valuable. Because electrical failures rarely give warning. Houses don't just burn up by giving you a pre-warned notice, okay? It just doesn't happen. Appliances don't just fail by giving you a notice that they're going to fail. However, if your appliance or your piece of equipment or your water heater or your air conditioning unit is being monitored by an energy monitoring system, then it can give telltale signs of usage and staying on too long or taking up or pulling too much current for too long a time, that we can monitor that for you on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis. We can check it to make sure everything's in line. And we can even give you follow-up emails to let you know what you may want to tweak in your system. Hey, you might not want to use your dryer during this time of the day. That's what ASEA does. That's the whole nature of the professional support back end of it. We're not selling you any products that you can't go get. We're showing you how to use them, how to sell them, how to market them, how to be a professional with them. But this can be to anything. You need to find out very quickly by just point blank asking them, okay, what is your concern? Don't argue. Remember, go listen to my podcast I did on the 5 ways to deal with the upset customers. Go listen to that. It's an effective podcast. It's available. Go look at it or go listen to it. Those are effective techniques, but you have to find out what is their main hurdle. And the only way you're going to get that is to asking very pinpoint questions, okay? Now, the last one is kind of a twofer because I'm going to throw something at the very end to you for that every salesperson, the old Zig Ziglar approach. There's something that you have to do at the end of every conversation about a product sale, okay? Because you can do all the education you want, right? You can educate them till they're blue in the face. You can give them social authority. You can explain how you've done this for this customer down the street or for this one, and you saved them money and they love their system, yada, yada, yada. You can show them how to reframe the cost is really an investment over time. And you can even, in our program, we even show you that how they can get back to what's called net zero on their investment because of the potential savings in the program. And then ultimately, you know what their hurdles are, okay? What is really the problem? You're not concerned about safety or this? You've never had, and you've never had a problem in these. That's the perfect time for you to have monitoring system on your system so they can head off those potential things, or you can see what's coming down the road because you can monitor your own energy usage. Or maybe it's the same thing with AFCIs and GFCIs, and you can say, you know what, code is the code. You never know at one moment where it could happen to you, and these products, like AFCIs, are basically keeping an eye on the circuits in your house. Now, I'm not getting into whether or not it's an old house and it can't use AFCI. I'm just saying in general. In general, there's ways to position certain things. With surge protective devices, you explained that the surges can come from inside as well as outside, and you have a lot of sensitive electronic equipment in your house, maybe expensive electronic ranges, smart washers and dryers, all this stuff that has circuit boards. There's a reason the code has surge protective devices in there. Whether you believe in them or not, you should be promoting them. They can choose if they want them or not, but you got a valued way of, I shouldn't say valued way. You have an educated way of positioning these to the customer, and you have to overcome, and you need to know what their concern is. Now, again, I told you the last one here is going to be give opinions, do not give ultimatums. People resist when they feel pressured. Offer a tiered solution. That is another thing that I've told people about for years. Like I might offer you, let's say you're a SIA member and you may offer the energy monitoring, and then you offer a basic plan and then a premium plan. The basic plan, they monitor their own. Premium plan, you will check in it on a weekly basis and look at their energy usage and make recommendations and things like that. There's two different tiers. They may not want the premium, but they may be on board with the basic. That's fine. But you bridge that hurdle and they say, this way they feel comfortable. They're still choosing your service. Even if they don't pick the highest package, you're still going to close the deal, folks. You're still going to close that deal. All right. Now, with that said, I think it would be totally the right time in this podcast to explain what we mean as closing the sale. There is a certain time in a conversation about the sale that you're going to get to the point where you've educated them. They understand it. They see the benefits. You've given them the literature. They're on that fence. And at the end of the day, you don't know whether you're going to get the sale or not. You're right there. But I'm going to tell you what. A lot of people spend a lot of time talking the talk, walking the walk, laying the foundation, convincing them. But at the end of the day, they give them an out. And that out is because they do not ask for the sale. They don't. And some people really struggle with this because they're like, dude, I just hate asking the customer. I just hate it. Well, look, you just spent all that time educating them. Why do you feel so hesitant to ask for the sale? For example, I might give them a package and I might be selling them on a SIA package, energy monitoring system with some smart plugs. And maybe I do smart up home where I put in some Alexa devices, or maybe I put some receptacles, smart receptacles that interact with the monitoring system and all done. I say, this is the package, and I'm sitting there and I might go to them. I'm like, okay, well, you see the benefits. You see what I can do for you here. When do you want this installed? See, so what you're doing is you're trying to get confirmation. And if they go, well, I don't know, I got to think about it. I gotta ask the wife. You go, I understand. I get it. Sometimes these things like this, it's better to work together as a team. Is there a time when we both can talk to her and I'll explain it to you so to make sure that she fully understands? But we can put you on the schedule. Now some people say, well, that sounds pushy. Well, you've already done the sale. You've already done the education. You've done everything. At this point, it's all for nothing if you don't complete the mission. And the mission is not to be pushy, not to pressure them, give them opportunities. For example, I might say, well, I understand that the premium plan is probably not something you're interested in. So the basic plan or this plan is probably the best for you anyway. But I can get you started and we can get you in and get you scheduled. In fact, I have an opening that I can get you in and we can get you programmed and all that stuff here in tomorrow if you're ready. All I'm saying is you'll develop your way to close the door, but you got to ask for the sale in some way. You have got to ask for that sale because for that, everything you've done is all for nothing. So, at this point, it does take time. You have to practice it, but you got to understand it when it comes for contractors. Here's a tip for you. Instead of trying to convince, shift to being a trusted advisor. Customers buy from people they believe have their best interest at heart, not just someone that's trying to make a sale. It is proven proven. So I firmly believe that every contractor that has technicians and salespeople that are going out doing service calls should be actively practicing on a weekly basis for 1 hour together, sales techniques and overcoming hurdles and having discussions and having this training. And it's a great time to regroup with your team, all this type of stuff. I mean, if they're a remote team, they can be done through video conferencing, but you have to role play. I believe that these are skills that you have to train somebody. I do not believe that they're innate in anybody, that they're things that you have to learn. And the more you learn them, it's like anything. It becomes, the more you do it, the more habitual you become at it, the easier it's going to flow, the easier you're going to have a discussion with a customer. And you're going to get over those hurdles. Are you going to get every sale? Absolutely not. But you're not going to pressure them. You're going to leave them with the right amount of information. You're going to ask for the sale. If you don't get the sale, that's fine. Sucks, but that's fine. But what you want to do is you want to get their information, get their email, get all their contact information, and you want to follow up with them. Because sometimes that old approach is sometimes it takes 4 or 5 or 6 times of putting something in front of their face. Have y'all ever heard about that stuff called value mail or Valpak, where they send you these things in the mail and you get it and you look at it and you see the same damn coupons over and over and over again, and finally you use a coupon after you see it 5 or 6, 7 times? You know, it might be to Little Caesars or Papa John's or whatever it is. You finally use the thing. They have wore you down. That is the approach it takes in sales. That's why billboards work. You see them, you pass them, you see them, you see them, you see them, and you finally go, oh shit, I remember that name. And it becomes something that's ingrained in your mind. There is a whole method of follow-up that every customer has to have when you're a contractor. And we'll talk about that in another podcast or even another video where I talk about retaining that customer after you've made that connection. How do you take a customer and then turn it into a recurring customer, or at least a lead generation magnet for you? Because you do a good job for them, you make them happy, they're going to tell other people. And there's a proven way to do that. And hopefully we'll cover that in another upcoming episode here at Master the NEC podcast, or maybe even on Coffee Hour, which you should be joining us Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern Time over on Fast Track's Tube. You'll see a link to Coffee Hour. Join us every morning, Monday through Friday. We'd love to have you there. All right. Till next time, folks, stay safe. God bless. And we'll catch you on another episode of Master the NEC podcast. Peace.
Thanks for tuning into another electrifying episode of the Master the NEC podcast. We hope you're feeling more powered up and ready to tackle the electrical world with the knowledge and confidence you need to succeed. Remember, in the electrical trade, knowledge is power, and we're here to make sure you stay plugged into the latest insights, tips, and code updates. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and share the podcast with your fellow electricians and industry pros. Until next time, keep your tools sharp, your circuits clear, and your mind focused, because here at the Master the NEC podcast, we're all about sparking your success. Stay safe, stay smart, and keep mastering the trade. From all of us here at Electrical Code Academy, thank you for all your support, and we will see you on the next amazing Master the NEC podcast episode.